Nothing captures the natural warmth and beauty of the outdoors quite like the look of stone. Now you can make a really dramatic impact in your own home by bringing the beauty of the outdoors inside. And today, we're going to show you how. We're going to use these stone veneer pieces to create a really eye-catching accent wall here around this doorway. Now, this type of stone wouldn't work for a walkway, but it's been specifically engineered to go on a wall. That makes it perfect for an accent wall, either inside, like the one that we're doing, or even on an exterior wall. Now you can follow along by visiting our website and downloading the list of tools and materials along with detailed step-by-step instructions. So today we're going to teach you how to measure for materials and prep your work surface. And then in our next video, we'll mortar and install the stones. Let's go. All right, so let's take a look at the tools and materials that we'll need. We have a measuring tape to measure for materials. To remove our trim, we have a hammer and a small pry bar. To deal with our outlets, we have a circuit tester and a screwdriver and a box extender. And then for good adherence to the wall, we have felt paper and metal lath. We have tin snips and a utility knife to trim those to size, along with leather gloves, because the edges of the metal lath can be sharp. We have galvanized nails or staples to attach them to the wall. And then finally, we have our Type S mortar mix, water, a mixing bit for our drill. We have a mortaring trowel to apply that to the wall, a notch trowel, and safety glasses. So the first thing we need to do is calculate how much stone we'll need. So to do that, you want to figure the total square footage of the entire wall area and then subtract the square footage of the area that you don't want covered with stone. Now in our case, we're going to be applying stone just to this archway. Now for more detailed instructions on how to do this calculation, refer to the PDF on our website. For our project, we're going to be bringing the stone just to this edge. But if you wanted to go around the corner, you'd need to consult the manufacturer's directions for estimating that corner amount. Remember, you're also going to want enough felt paper and metal lath to cover this area, accounting for overlap. You want those edges to overlap, so be sure you have enough. And to do this, add an extra 10% to the total square footage you calculated to account for overlap and waste. Okay, as you can see, our original wall is just plain wallboard. Now our rocks are thin stone veneer, but they do have some weight to them. So what we'll need to do is create a wall surface that will properly support the weight of those stones. But first we want to remove any outlet covers, trim, or light switch covers. But before you remove anything, use your circuit breaker to cut the power to that circuit, and then use your circuit tester to ensure that there's no flow of power. Now you can use your screwdriver to remove the outlet cover and detach the holding screws. Now remember, after we apply our stone, our wall is going to be thicker, so you want to plan for the appropriate box extender. We'll talk more about that process later. Next, you want to remove your trim and cover your outlet so that it stays clean and dry during installation. Then you want to clean your wall, removing the wallpaper and repairing any minor damage. You can get more information on how to do both at lowes.com/videos. Well, looks like now would be a good time to lay down a drop cloth with some plastic backing or other floor protection just to keep our floor nice and clean. Okay, first we need to create a moisture barrier of some type. Now you could use plastic sheeting, but for this project we're going to use felt paper. Now the felt paper should overlap from top to bottom about 4 inches, and then just nail it into place. All right, now that we have our felt paper in place, we want to attach our metal lath on top of it. Now the lath should overlap by about 6 inches. You can attach it to the wall using galvanized nails or staples. You want to be sure to drive the nails into wall studs and not the wall board itself. The fasteners should be about 6 inches apart, and be sure to drive them into the wall studs at least 1 inch. Oh, and be careful with these edges because they can be really sharp. So the next thing we need to do is create a scratch coat of mortar mix. So we're going to add water to your Type S mortar mix and then mix it until it's about the consistency of whipped potatoes. Now you want to be sure to mix it for at least 5 minutes. You'll also notice I'm doing this step outside because otherwise there would be dust everywhere. Now the way to check and see if your mortar is the correct consistency is to turn it upside down. It should stick briefly before falling off. Okay, now you can use your mortar mix to create an even scratch coat. You want to go for a thickness of about 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch, and you want to make sure that the metal lath is completely covered. Now once you've got an area done like this, you want to put grooves in the mortar mix while it's still wet. Now that will give the next layer of mortar mix a really great surface to grip onto. Looking good. Now the hard part, waiting. You need to let this set up before you start doing the stonework, and that can take up to 48 hours. So be sure to check the manufacturer's instructions for recommended drying times, just to make sure that it's nice and dry. Well, it seems like a good place to stop for now. So when you're ready for the next step, watch How to Install a Stone Veneer Wall, Part 2. You can find it at lowes.com/videos. For Lowe's Creative Ideas, I'm Andrea Powell.